Hi everyone, and welcome to January's monthly reads. So, this month I thought I'd go back to reading a bit of fantasy, and I decided to read A Storm of Swords, which is the next installment in Game of Thrones. If you've seen my Instagram, you'll know that I have the illustrated edition of A Game of Thrones and a Clash of Kings. So, yeah, I had to get this one, which was the next illustrated installment. What can I say about Storm of Swords? Well, it was a good book. I really enjoyed it. You know, it's what you expect from Game of Thrones. The pace is really quick, lots of battles, blood, betrayal, sex, that kind of thing. It's Game of Thrones. But, yeah, as somebody who hasn't read all the books yet but has seen all the series, I really am enjoying this. There's a lot of little intricacies that you don't get in the series. I'm not sure about other people, but I feel as if this is where the deviation really starts to go from the series. Like, before it was just little things, but in this one they feel quite big, like, oh, that didn't happen, you know. So yeah, if you want to know some more insight as opposed to what the series gave you, then definitely this one is where that, I feel, starts to happen. I do need to mention here that I did have an unfortunate habit of falling asleep partway through season 3, so this might be why I don't remember things, but I did ask James and he didn't remember these things happening either, and he watched it properly, so yeah. On the whole, A Storm of Swords, I really enjoyed it. A couple of things that I really liked about it is, as with all the Game of Thrones novels, it has a prologue and an epilogue, and they're told from the perspective of characters that we don't really follow throughout the rest of the book. And I feel that that gives it a really fresh beginning and end, you know, so you don't stagnate as you go through the book, because you start with this completely stranger, and then you end with this stranger, and it sort of top and tails the books really nicely. Is what you expect. It's not the most amazing ever, it's normal modern fantasy, but with a few little extra things thrown in to just sort of arc back to the type of writing style for the type of world it's written in. A couple of things in this that, just to warn you, you may be offended at, because he does use quite archaic language sometimes and terms that other people might not necessarily like or even know the meaning of nowadays, because, you know, knights and chivalry, and they use different words, but this is modern fantasy, but he uses different terminology and stuff sometimes. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It follows all the characters, this one does, as you know them. It's sort of season 3-ish, if you watch the series, so. But yeah, definitely a good book. Looking forward to when the next illustrated one comes out. This one was quite interesting, actually. The illustrations were by a different illustrator in this one than they were in the other two, and they were actually in these little cute photo frame type things, as opposed to being the whole page. So that was quite different. There's always good maps at the front, so if you're wondering where the hell things are, there are the good maps to refer to. So yeah, bit of fantasy, bit of fun. Yeah, enjoyed Storm of Swords. Reading A Storm of Swords, I thought, let's read some more fantasy, but this time something that is very different. And so I got this special edition of The Hobbit for Christmas, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Love this. It's got all these beautiful drawings in it by Tolkien, and also other artists that have contributed as well. There's all the maps and the runes and just everything you'd expect. The Hobbit is one of those books that just goes down in legend, isn't it, really? It is an amazing book. It's not huge, massive, high fantasy, it's this wonderful little adventure story. Just a quick note, as with a lot of Tolkien's work, he revised it throughout his life, but luckily for us, these modern editions have a little note at the front of them to let you know which edition this is taken from. So that's quite helpful to know. So there might be differences if you've read quite a lot of different editions. The world it's based in is this really detailed and crafted world, and that's what sets it apart from all these other little, fairy tale stories. The language is just wonderful and it just flows beautifully through it, and you just feel connected to all the characters, even though it's not really that long, it's only just under 300 pages long. But then again, each of the Lord of the Rings books is only roughly about 300 pages long. It's only when you put them all together that they become really, really long. It's much more accessible than I think Lord of the Rings is. Lord of the Rings seems to plod a little bit in places that can sometimes be a bit off-putting to people and make the book seem a little bit daunting. Whereas The Hobbit, it's a children's book. At the heart of it, that's what it is. But it's accessible to all ages, and it just has this wonderful, heartwarming feeling when you read it, making you want to go off and fight dragons and find gold and help out with a band of dwarves because, yeah, let's all go do that. That sounds fun. But unfortunately, we're stuck here, doing nothing at home because it's locked down in many places, depending on where you are. So, yay! But no, go off and find adventure with dwarves. That's my biggest recommendation. As always, I love Tolkien and I love his work. I have a lot of editions of his work and read them constantly and reread them. So yeah, let me know what you think of Tolkien, because I really love to talk to people about Tolkien. Like, it's my big thing. So please comment about Tolkien. I want to talk to people about Tolkien and how much I love Tolkien's work. So yeah, The Hobbit is a wonderful book and I'd recommend it to anybody who wants to get into fantasy. Or if you are into fantasy and just haven't got around to reading it yet, then definitely give it a read. There is something wonderful but unusual about Tolkien's artwork, making it feel truly like it's part of the world he created. I also appreciate that it was Tolkien who saw the importance of putting maps into fantasy novels. He wasn't the first to do this, but he was the first to use actual map drawing techniques as opposed to the abstract maps in books of the past. Thank you for watching this monthly reads video. I know it was a bit of a short one, but I was very busy with reading A Storm of Swords because it was so damn long, I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know what you thought of these books in the comments and what sort of books you've been reading throughout January. And as always, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye bye!